Here this morning for an exclusive interview, the man Obama picked 2 weeks ago to be his running mate, Senator Joe Biden of Wilmington, Delaware. Welcome back to Meet the Press. It's, by our count, your 42nd appearance here.
Well, first one in Delaware. Thanks for coming up, Tom.
you were here earlier this summer saying you would accept, but you didn't necessarily want the vice presidential nomination at that time.
Well, I've told you exactly what I thought, and it was true. I was very satisfied in the job I had as chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee, and I thought I could help the ticket that way. But Barack asked me to do it, and I had committed to him that if he wanted me, whatever he wanted me to do, I'd do it, because I think this election is so critical.
Let's talk about this past week. You and I were just watching Sarah Palin with that very impressive introductory appearance that she made at the Republican National Convention, and when she used that line, being a mayor is like being a community organizer, except you have actual responsibilities. You said pretty good line.
Yeah, it is a great line.
She had a number of good lines.
She had a number of good lines. Look, she's a smart, tough politician, and so I think she's going to be very formidable. But, you know, eventually she's going to have to sit in front of you, like I'm doing and have done. Eventually she's going to have to answer questions and not be sequestered. Eventually she's going to have to answer questions about her record.
Who was the first person you called after the speech?
After my speech?
After her speech.
I didn't call anybody. I didn't. I happened to be. I didn't get her. I didn't see her speech. I saw part of it. We were flying to Virginia from Florida to Virginia, and I caught the tail end of it. And I guess I called my wife. I called my wife.
And what did she say?
She said she thought she was tough. She thought she was tough, and she was a good politician. And you know, but. Who knows where this is going to go? You know, this early in the process, and the voters are going to make judgments about Sarah Palin and Joe Biden. But the truth is, they're mostly going to make judgments about Barack Obama and John McCain. Vice presidents are useful, but we're not determinative.
Already people are saying no one has a tougher job in debates than Joe Biden. He has to go up against this woman, and she has been teed up in many ways by the Republican Party as someone that you just can't go after in conventional terms. Make it tougher debating her than it would, say, Mitt Romney or Tom Ridge of Pennsylvania?
Well, in a sense, I know Mitt Romney and know his positions, and I know Tom Ridge, and I really respect them. But, you know, I've debated an awful lot of tough, smart women. A woman who's a judge here in our Superior Court was one of my toughest opponents ever for the Senate. And there's a lot of very tough, smart women in the United States Senate. I debate every day. So in that sense, it's not new. But what is new is I have no idea what her policies are. I assume they're the same as John's. I just don't know.
She did get off to a very fast start the day after they left St. Paul. They were out in Wisconsin, at Cedarburg, Wisconsin. Here were just some of the signs. A huge lineup of women, some of them with their daughters. Wisconsin loves Palin. Pro-life hockey moms for Palin. Sarah leaves liberals spinning. Read my lipstick. That was the reference to her line. What's the difference between a hockey mom and a pit bull? And she said, lipstick. And then we asked one of the women why she was at this debate, and this was the response.
What brought you out here today? Sarah?
She is already so familiar to women that they're using her first name, Sarah. Does that give your ticket a problem? Because there was a dust-up, obviously, between the Hillary Clinton supporters and the Obama campaign.
Well, look, I live with a lot of smart women. My wife is a professor and a hard-working person. My daughter. You know, I think it's kind of demeaning to suggest that all women are going to vote for a woman just because she's a woman, even when she is diametrically opposed to everything Hillary stands for. I mean, I hear this talk about, you know, is she going to pick up Hillary voters? Well, so far, I haven't heard one single policy position, one single position that she has in common with Hillary. So I just think, all folks are a little more discriminating than just merely whether or not it's the same sex or the same ethnicity or whatever. But we'll see. We'll see. The truth is, I don't know.
I want to move on in a moment, but here's another headline that appeared at the New York Post. Oprah Winfrey decided not to have Sarah Palin on the show before the election. Nopra, that's a New York Post headline. TV First Lady's Palin insult, as they called it. Oprah did come out for Barack Obama, did have him on the show. Do you think that some people will see that as an elitist position, that in some ways Democrats may be afraid of her, Sarah Palin.
Oh, no, I don't think so. I mean, I think it's, well, I don't look. That's for voters to decide. You're not going to see anything elitist. Look, what you hear immediately from Barack Obama and Joe Biden? Families off limits, and we mean it. That the personal stuff relating to some of the stuff that was popping out on the talk shows is just inappropriate. She's going to be judged, I assume, the same way I'm going to be judged. What does she know? What does she think? What's her record? What's she going to do? And as I look down the road, that's how I've always debated whoever I've debated, including the really tough women I work with, and smart women in the Senate. So I really don't view this any differently. I may be surprised here down the road, but you know, I'm just looking forward to debating her. I mean, why? Look, she had a great speech. But what was her silence on the issues was deafening. She didn't mention a word about health care, a word about the environment, a word about the middle class. That never parted her lips. I mean, so I don't know where she is on those things.